Hi everybody in YouTube land, this is Beatle Dave. This is the channel where we talk about everything to do with the Beatles and record collecting in general. Now for this video I'm very excited. I came home yesterday after a 10-hour shift to find that the good old postman had been, and he actually sent me, I'll have to just do that, 4 new records. I say 4 new, the second hand, but the 4 new records for my collection. Now, as you know, the past couple of years I've been very lucky. I've managed to find some of my holy grails, like a mono copy of the Beatles' Yellow Submarine album, the Beatles' Black and Gold Please Please Me LP, I recently found as well. So, you know, there's things that I'm starting to get that I've always actually wanted. Now, I've got 4, as I say, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 new additions to my collection. I only briefly had a look at them this morning, because basically when I came home from work last night, I was absolutely knackered. Now, 3 of them are the same record, but different like variations. And the 4th one is a variation of the record as well, but under a different title. All will become apparent if you stick with me through this video. I'm not sure if it's going to be a long video or a short video. But please bear with me because I'm sure we will be learning things all the way through this together. So if you've watched one of my videos from, I think it was late last year or the beginning of this year, you know that I had a bootleg copy of Introducing the Beatles. Very convincing one, but the thing that gave it away was that where the record label was, it says Introducing the Beatles, then you have the spindle, and then it said the Beatles underneath it. But the cover could have been an original cover, and then I had another version of it, and then another version of it as well. But you know, they were unofficial or bootlegs or fakes, whatever you want to call them. So last weekend I was looking on eBay, and I was looking at this bloke, and he got some records, and I sent him a couple of texts saying, you know, what are they like? And he goes, well, to be honest, Dave, I can't tell you what they sound like because I haven't got a record player any longer. That's why I'm getting rid of them. You know, they're just basically in a shelf, not doing anything. So I was looking, and he'd got 3 copies of Introducing the Beatles, and then the 4th copy is the early Beatles, which was Capitol's reissue of it, wasn't it, sort of thing. So I'm like looking at them, I'm thinking, well, they look like the genuine article to me. Don't get me wrong, I know there's some very clever counterfeiters out there, so hopefully if you lot are watching this and you think they're real, you can tell me. If you think they're fakes, tell me, you know, by all means. So I just says, well, are you open to bids on them? And he says, well, what are you sort of like thinking? So I said, well, I'll offer you X amount for these 4 records. And he goes, oh, that's, you know, that is a really nice offer. He says, but to be honest, I think I'm going to let the auction go to the end. He goes, yeah, no problem. I says, I'll keep an eye on them and I'll put a bid on them. Right. So I got these 4 records for less than what I was originally going to bid for him or offered him. But as long as he's happy and I'm happy, that's all that matters. And I am very happy. And I hope it comes over on this video that I am really happy, because I actually think they are genuine. And the little bit of, like, I've looked at them and done a little bit of research this morning, I do actually think that they are genuine. But then again, even if they're not, for what I've paid for them, I couldn't even get a bootleg copy. That's, you know, so bear with 1 second. So once again, I will apologise if this video goes on for a bit, but I just thought that we would try and do it justice, and I'll try and show you as much as I can on them. Obviously, I'll go through them as we go along. So this is the first one. So, Introducing the Beatles. Right, I will take it out of this. It has got the original inner sleeve with it as well, which, you know, indicates that it is an original pressing, doesn't it? The only downside is that the actual original sleeve is damaged. But I think these are very, and I mean very rare. They're basically as rare as rocking horse shit. But it is the one that would have come in the originals. But you see that has been torn off there. So it's just advertising records on VJ. For those that you don't know, VJ was a very small, basically independent record label. They did have the rights to the Beatles like early songs from the middle of 1963. But this album, they didn't actually release this till January 1964, and it came out, I think it was 10 days or 14 days before Capitals Meet the Beatles, when Capitals like realised that, you know, the Beatles were getting big in the UK and in Europe and everything. And don't forget, Capitol had originally rejected the Beatles, although EMI owned Capitol, which always seems a bit strange to me. So this is the first of three that I'm going to show you. And this is the one that's probably the most intriguing because, like I say, it does have the original inner sleeve with it. So if you look at it, if you look at that, you can see George's shadow there, which indicates that it could be an original. This is, I think they call this version 2 because it has Please Please Me and Ask Me Why in place of PS I Love You and Love Me Do, because apparently VJ didn't have the rights to them two songs for some reason. So it has got a glossy sleeve, which a lot of the counterfeits and fakes and unofficial ones don't. It is VJLP 1062, which it says there. It's got the VJ oval there. So far, everything seems to be 100% legitimate or 100% right. Very, very bold. On the later ones, this is like very, very like blurry. That is a very, very lovely photo. Like I say, it's glossy and it's very, very sharp. All this introducing the Beatles stuff on the front looks very, very authentic as well. The only downside on this is on the back of the sleeve, somebody's picked the songs on side 1 for some reason, but not on side 2. Again, this looks very, very authentic. It looks all to be in like the right positions and everything. Unfortunately, I think this has been on somebody's wall at some point because there's 2 very, very tiny like pin tricks there, so they've probably had it on a wall like that. The spine and everything seems to be okay. So far, everything looks 100%, doesn't it? Well, in my eyes, it does. There's like a little bit of pen mark. I mean, I might be able to get them off, but to be honest, if it's an original and end up like ruining it, I won't be able to forgive myself. So I think I will leave that on it because it is part of its history as well, isn't it? So that is it. As I say, it to my eyes, and for the research I've done and the videos I've looked on YouTube, I'm virtually convinced this is an original. This is the sleeve that I've put it in because that one was falling to bits. The other one, I'm still going to keep that sleeve, don't get me wrong. So this is like on an oval VJ label, but it's red oval. So that is side 1. And then that is side 2. Now, as you see again, you've got introducing the Beatles, and then the Beatles is above the spindle, which it should be, shouldn't it? So that was side 2, and then it's the same on side 1. Introducing the Beatles, and then the Beatles is above the spindle hole, which it should be. Now, looking at this, he seemed to like the track that I bought him off. Said, well, I don't know if they'll play or not because they're in really, really bad condition. But yes, it has got a few little scratches on it, but they're not feelable. And it's like this colour band, this like rainbow band, is very sharp into. You can tell the colours, where on the fakes or the counterfeits or whatever you want to call them, they seem to like that bit there never looks right. But to me, that looks. I would say that's 100%. Yeah. Now, apparently, I'm not sure if this is the one that's got, because they had a smaller label on some of them as well, which was like for single, but I'm not sure if that's the one or not. But so, you know, so I saw her standing there, Misery, Anna, Chains, Boys, and Ask Me Why. That's side 1. And then on side 2, it is Please Please Me, Baby It's You, Do you want to know a secret? A taste of honey. There's a place, and twist and shout. So basically, it's like their version of Please Please Me LP, isn't it? So, like I say, really, really heavyweight record. Again, the counterfeits seem to be on very light, inferior vinyl that's nowhere near as thick. So I'm trying to see what's in the dead wax, if there's anything in the dead wax. I think it says 3, 4. I can't see. This is with my glasses as well. Sorry. There is something in the dead wax which I can't actually see what it is. Does that one say there? Now, there is things pressed into the dead wax. The dead wax is this bit here, but it's very, very small, and I can't really see it, to be honest. But I would still say I'm pretty sure that that is an original. Whether it's a first pressing, second pressing, whatever, it is an original one, not a counterfeit. That's what I'm saying. So I'm quite happy that obviously it has got some, spindle wear there and spindle wear there, which if it's an original, it would have, wouldn't it? I think it says 29th of the 3rd, 63 on there, I think. Yeah, plus 20. 24th of the 3rd, 63. So that's probably how long when they had these masters from, isn't it? And then didn't decide to release it till nearly a year later. Yeah, that is what it says. Yeah, because if I've got the story right, I think they'd only got the rights for a year or something to these recordings. And because the first couple of singles flopped, they didn't flop, but they weren't like massive hits, were they? And VJ was in a bit of trouble at the time. I think there was, they weren't really making a lot of money, because I think the only hit group they had on the label, if I remember right, there was Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. Please correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But then I think when they realised Capitol did I Once Hold Your Hand, wasn't it? Things like that. And then they've seen the success that the Beatles were having in the UK and the rest of Europe. I think they sort of rush released this, because I think on the actual first ever pressings of these, what that inner sleeve was the back cover for this. And then there's another version that is just plain, and then there's this version. But obviously, then the first version of this would have had "Love Me Do" there and "P.S. I Love You" there. And the other thing about this is, if you look, that Please Me's actually got a comma there, where the other two haven't. So all in all, I'm virtually convinced 100% that is an original 1964 pressing from America. But even if it isn't, I'm still happy to have it, because it's a wonderful album. Like I say, compared to the other ones I've got, this is a hell of a lot, what's the word I'm looking for? Heavier or better constructed and everything. Like I say, that has actually got a slight laminate on it as well. That is laminated on the front, where the bootlegs or unofficial ones aren't. So I would, if that isn't an original, I would be very, very surprised. And that's quite there on its own, isn't it? Like I say, I think the back was originally like that, but I don't know. So that's one of them there. All right. So that's one. This is the second one. Cover's not quite as good on this one, to be honest. Again, it's not quite as glossy. Or should you say that one's in better condition? That's all I'll say. I think this has been played a lot more. A little bit of patination on there. Again, same catalogue number, I think, VJ LP 1062. Again, this has got ask me why I'm please me instead of love me doing PS I love you. And again, it has got the please me with the comma. It's got, seems like it's taped down there, but I don't know if that is like how they originally came out. Like I say, this one isn't in as good as condition as that. Still all intact. Let's have a look. You didn't get the original inner sleeve with this one, but again, I have looked on eBay and Discogs. I know what that number was now. It's 63/3402. That's what's in the dead wax. And this has got a triangle in the dead wax there, which depicts where it was pressed in America, doesn't it? I'm not quite sure what that one is. And then it says 63/3402 2. And then there is a there's like a little circle there with a cross on it. I don't know if you can see that. Now again, this is an unbracketed VJ, so it hasn't got the brackets there, and it's silver and black. So when I first saw this one, I thought, well, this has got to be a counterfeit then. But the weight of the record is very, very heavy. And I've seen this on a American Beatles site, an auction type place, and they had this other week, and they were saying, no, this is a genuine one. It's just a slightly later copy. Again, you know, it has got the introducing the Beatles and the Beatles above the spindle hole. Got quite an index there. Indent. Please me, baby, it's you. I want to. So this is actually in really, really nice condition. There's hardly any spindle wear near the hole. Show you side one first. So that is side one. So I haven't cleaned these or anything, but they're not in that bad a condition, to be honest. I think they will all play okay. And then that is side two. Again, I will leave them there. So I'll leave them for a few seconds. If you wanted to like zoom in, you know, you tell me what you think. Again, really, really heavyweight record. I would say that is a genuine one. I would actually say that's a genuine one. So that's the second of the three. Polyline sleeve, whether that was what it came in or not, I don't know. The record is probably in better condition than that one. Slight bit there. I think that was just the way that they constructed these in America, wasn't it? Apart from that, you know, it is in very nice condition. So that's that one. And that is the other one. That one is slightly lighter. But yeah, I would say that I think that one's just been worn more. I think that one's just been played more. I think that's the only difference. So now we'll go on to the third version, or the third copy, which is this one again. Introducing the Beatles. Got your VJ logo there. Span, everything is really intact. But on this one, please me, hasn't got the comma. I don't know if that makes this one there or not. I think the dogs are having an argument outside. And there is a little symbol there. I don't know if you can see that. So if any of you out there know what that symbol means, because that's not on the other two, again, it's exactly the same catalog number, I think. BJLP 1062. America's greatest recording artists are on BJ Records. And this is actually in nice condition again. Laminated at the front, slightly laminated on the back. This is actually nice. This is nice. And this has got the brackets on the VJ. So, you know, we've seen 3 different variations of this label, haven't we? And this actually says VJ LP 1062 63/3402. And then it says long playing, and then it says side 1 microgroove, where they just didn't say microgroove, did they? Again, that has got things in it in the dead wax, but I can't really see what they are, even with this magnifying glass. I can't really see what they are. They're very, very well. That looks there. I could be wrong on this, but it's going to be very, very hard for you to see because I can only just see it. That looks there like it's a triangle like that, but then with a stick coming out of it, which, if I remember rightly, means, isn't it a Winchester press? Because that's where they made the guns, and that's what they use that symbol for. I could be wrong, and know me, I probably am. But yeah, is it on that side as well? Let's see. No, it's only on side 1. So again, the labels are very, very clear, and this rainbow outer ring is very, very clear as well. Again, really, really nice condition. Very, very heavyweight record. Hardly any spindle wear on it. A little bit there. So out of the 3, I would say this is probably the best copy. I mean, there's no bad copy, is there? In all honesty, there's no bad copy, but this seems to be one that's got the least wear on it. Having said that, I bet this is one that plays the worst. Because sometimes, although you can look at them and you think, yeah, that's absolutely fantastic, and you play them and they can jump and all sorts, and you get some that look scratched to hell, and yet they play fine. I would say that is the best one out of the lot. Again, not the original inner sleeve. See, this is another thing. Do you know, in the UK, we put the record in the cover. I've been watching a load of videos because I've subscribed to a lot of Beatles channels and record collecting channels, and a lot of Americans will put them like that and then put it in the plastic sleeve, right? But to me, surely that's got less protection than if it's in there. So I'm not sure if that's just an American thing. As far as I know, every record collector I know in the UK will put the record into the cover. Again, lovely condition. So my gut feeling is every one of these 3 are original. Might be later pressings and things like that, but I think they are original. In other words, I'm saying they're not fakes and they're not bootlegs. Excuse me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. That is my gut feeling. If you think different or you know different, please let me know. But my gut feeling is they are real. They just seem real. You know, the way you touch them, the way you can smell them. I mean, that sounds stupid because I've said this before on a video. If a record is an original vintage record, it has a certain smell to it. They smell right. They feel right. The weight's right. If the counterfeits or unofficial, they've got into a hell of a lot of trouble to make them look as genuine as that. I'd say all three of them are real. I really would say all three of them are real. Real as not bootlegs or unofficial, original pressings. So the fourth record is just like it's a reissue of that, but it's on Capitol. So it's the early Beatles, and this always makes me laugh when I see this. This is a Canadian one, not an American one, by the way. Because now that they haven't really done liner notes as such. They've just done a little bit of word in there, and it goes, early birds all over the United States, millions of them got the bug for the Beatles in the first weeks of 1964. The 11 great songs on this album were among those that launched the Beatles. They appeared on another record label. It doesn't say what record label, does it? Just as they appeared on another record label. They appear now for the first time on Capitol, added with pride and pleasure to the fine Capitol treasures of Beatles recordings, which together constitute an unprecedented phenomenon of entertainment history. Does it? I mean, basically, they just got the rights, haven't they, to that LP. So this is ST2309, and I know this is a later pressing. I'd say this is probably from the 1980s. 3109 American Drive, Messenger somewhere, Ontario, L4V132, printed in Canada. So you get Love Me Do, Twist and Shout, Anna, Chains, Boys, Ask Me Why, Please Please Me, P.S. I Love You, Baby It's You, A Taste of Honey, and Do You Want to Know a Secret? So, that's the track listing on this one. Cover is actually the back cover of Beatles for Sale, isn't it? I mean, this is in nice condition. Capitol full dimensional stereo. But this is on the purple Capitol label. But like I say, this isn't a US one. This is in Canada. And that's got that little circle with something in it, so I don't know what that means. But then, the way to this is nowhere near them. I mean, they're vintage no matter what. They are vintage. You can tell by the way to the records. So again, I will do a close-up and I will hold it there. So if you wanted to zoom in, you can see what the labels look like. Side one. And then that is side two. So that's it. That is the 4 records that came actually yesterday. But like I say, because I was working silly shifts, I didn't actually have time to look at them properly till today. And I'm very, very happy with them. I really am happy with them. That's probably worth 25 quid on a good day. Maybe a little bit more. I mean, that actually looks unplayed, to be honest. Now, as for these 3 little babies, I'm not sure. I've seen versions of one of these on eBay this morning, and the prices go from anywhere from £50 up to £250. So I would say roughly these are worth £100 each, maybe a little bit more. I've looked on really, really good sellers because I checked the feedback and everything. So the ones I've looked at are identical to some of these. I know they're the genuine article. I can't tell the difference between them and these. But there was some on there that had got the bootlegs ones where you got Spindle Hole and introducing the Beatles and the Beatles down there. But they was trying to say that they was originals, but they're not, are they? We all know that. So I'm happy. And I'm very, very happy with what I paid for these. Like I say, a minimum of on them, I'd say £100 each. probably more. You know, probably 150, 250. I know some of them that I looked at within dollars, and I can't quite translate it. I know one of them wanted $375, which wasn't that one. It was the one with the red logo, wasn't it? Which was that one. I think it's this one. They wanted $375 for this one, which was the red oval BJ, red oval. Yes, and it did. You know, it probably was in slightly better condition than this. Like I say, you know, it wasn't a hell of a lot better condition than that. And it did have the original inner sleeve with it. I will grant it. But then again, this is the one that had the original inner sleeve with it, but it's ripped into it. So I don't know what $375 is in UK pounds. I mean, it sounds a lot of money. But you know, if it is a genuine, if it's genuine, then that is worth roughly the same, isn't it? The other ones, this one, was it this one? That one, they were going with the class that as the VJ bracket logo, don't they? Bearing in mind, this is in really, really tip-top condition. This, they were going for around the $200 to $275. Again, I don't know what that equivalates to in English pounds, but I'd say if it's $275, it's going to be £200, isn't it, at least? So I don't think I did that bad. I didn't pay anywhere near £100 for them. That's for all four. I didn't pay anywhere near £100. I actually paid the grand total of £42, I think it was. That's for all four of these records. Bearing in mind, I'm virtually convinced that 3 introducing ones are original pressings. So that's the 3 original VJ ones, and then the Capital of Canada version of the early Beatles. £43. Bear in mind that's with the postage. So I've paid less than £10 each for them. So if I was going to sell them, which I'm not, sometimes I do sell a little bit on eBay, but it's very rare I will sell Beatles stuff anyway. Things like this, where am I ever going to get 1, 2, 3 original VJ American pressings of this album? You know, I can't believe how lucky I was, because I just put a bid in because it said starting bid. So all I did was put in what the starting bids were for, and I got them. You know, I'm actually overwhelmed because I was expecting them to just go up and up and up and up, and that's what made me think, well, they can't be real. But I think I was just lucky that I'd seen it and a lot of people hadn't seen it. So I am very, very happy. I can't even remember the name of the bloke that was selling them, to be honest. But you know, if you're watching, mate, thank you very much. You know, they have gone to good home. They will be very, 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 very well looked after. They will not be being sold at any time like that now. You know, they are mine to keep. They will go in with the rest of my Holy Grails and Beatles, you know, collection. So I hope that's been informative. I hope you learned something. You know, I'm over. I just can't believe it. I struck gold, haven't I? In all honesty, I've struck gold. I mean, even if these were unofficial or bootlegs, they'd still cost me more than what I paid for these. And like I say, they are heavyweight records, everything. I've done as much research as I can, and there's nothing that's saying they're dodgy. Everything is pointing that they are original copies. So I've made a killing, haven't I? Or I could have made a killing if I wanted to resell them, which I'm not. You know, I am a Beatles collector and I'm a record collector, and I'm just amazed that I've got these for the price that I got them from. And I just thought I'm going to share them with you, and I hope you agree with me that they are original copies. I can't really find anything to indicate that they're not. That's all I'll say. The only things that, you know, there's only certain things I can check, and everything I've checked, it seems to work out to say that they are genuine. I mean, even that one, you know, Canada Capital, you know, some people will pay stupid money for that because it's a Canadian version rather than a US version, although it's identical, isn't it? So, you know, I'm actually lost for words. I really am. It's like I can't believe me luck. Really cannot believe me luck on that. As you know, we have had a bit of a rough couple of years, so hopefully something like that, you know, it's just made my day. Really, it really has made my day. It shows you that, you know, if you're on your eBays or your other sites, just take the time to look at things, study the photos, read the description. I mean, you know, the chap did say he'd had them from the early 1960s, and everything else he was selling was from the 1960s, with original pressings. Some were British, some were Canadian, some were American. You know, so even that fits in with them, doesn't it? And as far as I know, you couldn't get the counterfeits didn't start coming out till the 70s, did they? So, but even early counterfeits, they were lightweight vinyl, weren't they? Weren't as heavyweight as that. I'd say that's roughly 100, and they weigh roughly 160 gram each, and VJ ones, maybe a little more. I don't know. I haven't got scales, but they're not quite as heavy as 180 gram, put like that. But you know, I love them. I'm very happy. I'm amazed I've got them, to be honest. 1, 2, 3. I've even got that one, and you know, that's probably worth a little bit of money on its own. Now, what would you do if you was me? What would you do? Would you keep that as it is, or would you try and fix it with a bit of sellotape or something? I mean, it'd still be a bit ropey, wouldn't it? Or just leave it as it is. I think I'm just going to leave that as it is. So that's it. So that's 1, 2, 3 copies of introducing the Beatles on VJ, which we hope, which I'm virtually convinced, my heart is saying so, my head's saying so, original copies. And then we've got that version of it, the Capital version, which is on Capital of Canada, not Capital of America. So I've done okay on that. As always, folks, thank you very much for putting up me. I hope it hasn't been too boring for you. I just thought I've got to try and do it justice. I really have got to try and do that justice. If you'd like to leave comments, please do. I will try and get back to as many comments as I can, depending on my work situation, because I'm actually off today. So I just thought, when I opened them this morning, I thought, God, yeah, I can't believe it. I really can't. I still can't believe it now, to be honest, for what I've paid for them. And I've paid less than what I'd pay for one bootleg for them 4. It's amazing. I really am amazed. I really, really am amazed. Thank you to everybody that is subscribing and supporting me in my channel. I've been doing this channel for about 8, maybe 9 months now. When I started out, I didn't really know what I was doing. In some ways, I don't really know what I'm doing now. All my videos are live, i.e., even if I do it on my phone, I don't edit it. Everything, if I make a mistake, I keep it in. This is my music room, obviously. Beatle Dave says it all. You know, it is a Beatles channel, but it is also a record collecting channel. And I did have somebody have a go at me the other week. whether it was intentionally or I've took it the wrong way, I don't know. I don't think it was a subscriber. I just think it was somebody that's seen one of my videos on YouTube. And it basically says, well, if you're Beatle Dave, why do you do show records that aren't by the Beatles? So I sent him a text and he goes, look, it is Beatle Dave. You know, I'm a Beatles fanatic, but I'm also a record collector. So from time to time, I will show like other records just to keep people interested. Then he goes, well, you should change your name then. Change the name of your channel. And I thought, why? You know, everybody knows me as Beatle Dave. Yes, I know there's another Beatle Dave out there. And I think we started roughly the same time. But obviously, when I started my channel, I didn't know about him. And I should imagine it is the same with him. So he's got a slightly different name to me. And I will tell you what it is, because I'm not in competition with anybody. And hopefully nobody's in competition with me. I'll just show you what I think you want to see, and other people show you what they think you want to see. So I am Beatle Dave. Now there's another bloke, and he's based in the UK, and he calls his Beatle Dave's Beatles channel. All right. So don't get confused. We are two completely different channels. I do watch some of his videos. Don't get me wrong. He's a very knowledgeable chap, and he has got some really, really interesting records. Then I was thinking, well, maybe I should change my name to Beatle Dave, the record collector, or something like that. And I'm thinking, no, sod it. I'm just going to keep it as Beatle Dave. You know, there shouldn't be any, confusion with any other channel. I'm my channel. They are their channels. Watch it. We're completely different people. But like I say, you know, if you like sort of some of the rarer stuff, check out his channel. You know, like I said, I'm not in competition with him. I'm giving him a plug. That's Beatle Dave's Beatles channel. It is very, very good channel. There's also Beatley Tones Beatles channel. That's a good one. There's Mr. Mayo. He's in America. There's Beatles 69. That's another one. You know, if you're into the Beatles, the more channels you watch about the Beatles, the more stuff you gotta learn, aren't you? I mean, I'm lucky. I've got loads. I must have getting on for 100 books about the Beatles now. Unfortunately, most of my Beatles books and reference books are about British Beatles records. So obviously, when it comes to things like this, American ones, I'm a little bit in the dark, but that's why I watch other channels to learn things out. And every channel I have looked at, where I've tried to find out about this or done the research on Google and things like that, I'd say they're genuine. I would honestly, I'd put money on it that they're genuine. So like I say, I'm very, very happy, and I'm over the moon, and I'm basically speechless, and I'm starting to wobble on now, which I was determined I wasn't going to do. So as always, thank you very much to everybody that is supporting me. If you haven't subscribed, please do me a favor. If you've liked this video, give me the thumbs up, hit the subscription button, and then if you hit the notifications button, you will get notifications when I'm doing new videos. If you don't like this video, just check out one of my other videos. So I mean, this is quite a long one for me now, but my videos go on from, some of them only last like 10-15 minutes, some of them can last, I think the longest one we've got is an hour and a half. When I got a load, and I mean hundreds of Beatles singles. Again, they were all foreign ones, they weren't UK persons. So you might want to check that one out as well. So as always, love your records, cherish your records, clean your records, but above all, what do we say? Play your records. Because that's what I'm going to be doing in a bit. I'm going to play these, and then if you know, if they do all play okay, I will do a quick video and just say, yeah, that one's brilliant, that one's okay, that one's got a jump or whatever. But I think, looking at them, I think conditioning them, I think they will all play okay. So that's going to be it for today. As always, look after yourselves, love one another, be nice to one another. You know, life is too short sometimes. You never know what's going to happen to you. So, you know, you've got to cherish every minute. And that's going to be it for today. So it's Beatle Dave from Derbyshire in the UK, wishing you all a wonderful Sunday. I hope you've enjoyed my video. If you have, do me a favour, if you're not subscribed, just give me a like button and hit that subscription button. So until the next video, it's Beatle Dave saying cheerio, thank you very much, bye bye, and love to you all.